Welcome, everybody. Today is Monday. Oh, we have a coughing guest today. It's so awesome. Are you okay?
You okay, Victoria?
Yeah, I got choked there for a minute. I'm so sorry.
This is the way we start our show. Out with a bang and a cough.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Take a moment, take a deep breath, get something to drink there.
I was eating a jelly bean. It went down the wrong way.
Yeah. That happens.
Oh.
All right.
Speaking of which, I gotta mute all my things here. Let me do let's say a quick hello. Luis, you want to do that and see who's in our chat?
Yes, I see Wendy's here. Hello, Wendy.
Right.
Thank you for joining us.
Wendy. Thank you, guys. Usually on this has been a peculiar day, Victoria and Luis. And I. Hey, it's backed by Silvers in here. How you doing there? Thank you for coming. But we found that Mondays are an interesting time, but it's more about the afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
People either just you know how it is. They'll somebody's on live, or they'll start getting their notifications. But it looks like everybody's pouring in. They're getting their notifications. So
yeah, they'll stop pouring in.
Let's all take a deep breath here. Are you okay? Did you get something to drink?
I'm good now. That was embarrassing. I am so sorry.
No worries.
That's the thing about this mindful merchants. There's nothing to be embarrassed here. We're all about non-critical observation. We can observe something. We'll take deep breaths. If you need a moment, we're all here for each other. And that's really what it's about. We started this platform. I was about to tell you, Victoria, but I'll tell it so that everybody in the live can hear. Is the intention behind Mindful Merchants, whether it's on a Monday or not, is to start off our week and to really just want to grasp that notion now. I know we're going to talk in a little bit about that. You've started another project, and it's not necessarily for resellers, but it could be, for other folks. But us as resellers, and I did put in our thing. Luis wrote it in the thing is for householders, which means you could just be a common everyday person like us with a normal workday load. And then there's us that do reselling and stuff. We're trying to bring what can we do in our life that can just bring more mindful techniques or methods, strategies, and mindful well-being. And it doesn't have to talk about mental health, but it could be mental well-being. Like, hey, I want to wake up with positive affirmations and bring in a better day. I want to do better on my YouTube channel.
Right.
I think I would love to learn something new. So why don't we do this? We're going to say hi real quick, and then I want you to introduce yourself here.
Okay.
Wendy, hello, Wendy. And then Luis, you got the control on who gets to be seen or not.
Yeah. Hello, back by Silver.
All right. Bear Flag Mercantile, welcome back. I believe they're out of California, right?
Yeah, he's in California.
Thank you for coming. Thank you. And we got, here we go. We got Brian, Try Flippers. Thank you, Brian, for coming. We're gonna have to get him on the show one day. I think he's one of the unique YouTubers he does have some content, but every time he's in the chat, he always brings something interesting to the table. Like he'll ask really, really astute questions.
He's great. He's great. I really,
Everybody in here is wonderful. So that not to exclude anybody, but Rebel Jump. Oh, I love her. She's so awesome.
She's awesome.
Lady Mercantile. Welcome. Thank you, Rebel, for coming. Thank you, everybody. So let's start this off. Down below, we have our special guest today. Everybody may know her under the title Adventures in Reselling. But would you introduce yourself, maybe in a nutshell, about who you are, what you do?
Yeah. My name is Victoria Zaenglein. I do have the title. I always try and get it over here. It's here, Adventures in Reselling. That's my main channel. That's my first channel.
Announce it.
It's always a little weird when people put you big.
Okay, I'll put you back. It's fine.
It's like, what do I say? Everybody can see me. Like, nobody can see me right now, But anyway, let me see. I'm married. A little bit about my personal life is I'm married. I have 2 grown children that are out of the house.
How old are they, if you don't mind us asking?
I have a 23-year-old. He was born in 97, so I think that makes him 23 this year or next year. One or the other.
That's my nephew's age, yeah.
Really? And I have a 20-year-old, and she'll be 21 in January. I can't believe I almost have a 21-year-old baby.
That's awesome. No, hey, we got Matt Romero's in the house
How you
here.
doing, Matt?
Shamrock Dixie too. Summers 422 is here. Thank you guys for coming.
Hello.
Everybody, write in the chat. Write something nice to Victoria because she took some time out of her day. She's a very busy person.
Yep.
She's telling us she is a parent and a mom, and she is a wife. And so that on top of would you consider yourself a reseller?
Yes, but I've kind of stepped away from it while I'm trying to build the new channel because you guys know building your own channels, it takes a lot. And when I was trying to build this channel, I had a really hard time trying to build this channel and do reselling at the same time. I did it, but it was like this channel came first, and really my reselling should have came first because that's where my money, was made. That was where my what do you call it? My income was that. But me and my husband talked about it, and we actually talked about the new channel, which I know we'll get into that in a minute. But so I actually took a little bit of a step back because I was so busy with this channel before I started my new channel.
Busy like is an overwhelmed, just trying to balance and
to the point that I was almost going to be overwhelmed because I was on. People joked with me that, YouTube was going to shut me down because I had so many shows on. So, I was on like a lot, like 12.
I have to say that I've observed that Luis and I were like, my gosh, and Luis was like teasing me, like, she's almost as bad as you, Louie. You're all over the place. And I'm like, what do you think?
Exactly. So me and my husband talked about it because I had this idea for my new channel. And I'm like, I can't do everything. Something has to give. I can't do the reselling and this channel as much as I do and everything I do. I was doing auctions and I was doing a lot. And so he's like, okay, quit the auctions because that's where most of my reselling income came from was those auctions. Not that I made a whole lot, but it was like a part-time income for me. It was like a, what do you call it? When you work for the man, but you minimum wage. It was like a minimum wage income, part-time income for me. So he's
time you put into it ended up not being, I'm trying to think of what the term is, like where it's just your investment is not worth all the energy, and I'm not talking just monetary,
Exactly.
You got to think about this is what I meant. Like we talk about mental well-being. Like, am I happy doing this? Is it serving the community by me stressing out, or about to?
What I put into it was a lot more than what I got out of it monetary wise. Not that I said that wrong. Not the money that I put into it, because I definitely got extra money out of it that I didn't put into it.
Yeah.
I got this stuff really cheap.
But your energy is priceless.
Exactly. So that's
time is money. Time, people don't look at it, but time is our money. But it's also, it can go so many different ways. And I wanted to kind of stop there and pause you for a minute and then jump in and interject, because I love your conversations. I've watched you, Luis and I've said, we adore you because you're probably one of the more positive assets in our community that I just can say just your laugh alone is contagious. And it's like, it is. No, because you're so, I think you don't put up this front, just like you are.
All hang out.
And and you're but you are mindful. Sometimes we kind of, we joke around and say things like, oops, but the thing is, we're all adults and we all when I see somebody that's their energy is not pretentious, I really go, you know what, it's nice. And so that's one of the things that comes up, starting a YouTube channel, no matter what, whether you're a reseller or not, you got to put your personality in there, but also at the same time, you're people can sense and smell when you're not authentic.
Right.
And that's a hard thing to be mindful of, because there's some people that are narcissistic, it's all about me. Well, is it really?
No, not really.
Or, because
it shouldn't be all about them.
Yeah.
Well, but that's the fun thing about this is we get to learn to meet each other, greet each other, and not talk too much, where I get to shut up for a little bit here. And what I'm guessing is, can we just interject real quick? So you mentioned you did do auctions. Luis where am I pointing here? It's Luis has a question, he brought up, and I went, that might be a good question to ask. Do you know what you want to ask, Louis?
Yeah. Well, I know. Like I said, I know I've done an auction with Victoria before, so
Okay.
I'm familiar with her. So my question is, how was it for you to do the auctions? You know, because a lot of people don't know all the behind the scenes stuff that goes behind the auctions.
Mm.
How did
There's
you?
so much.
How did you deal with all that?
Okay, so first of all, let me just go through behind the scenes so that they know what we're talking about. Because there is, those of you that have never done an auction.
It's an online auction, specifically online. Okay.
Yeah.
Online auction on somebody's channel. You have to, okay, first of all, you have to go out and get the stuff. Then you have to clean it up if you need to, which I was doing clothes mostly. So I'd have to wash them, dry them, put them up. I mean, it was a lot of behind the scenes work. And then
I don't envy you.
and then I had to create a form. You know how me and my forms, I love forms, but this was like a printable piece of paper, and it told who bought it, how much it was sold for, all the pertinent information that I would need in order to send out the invoices. So then you actually do the auction, which that is fun in itself. And then I kind of added some extra work onto myself because I actually took pictures of my clothes and I put them up. You know, I made little Canva photos.
People don't understand that presentation is so tedious. I come up with an arts background. I would say one thing, if I noticed you doing that, I'd be going, she's putting in extra work here. Or I would just say, I appreciate you doing that, because that can make or break a sale, or let alone somebody's interest, you know?
Well, and people can see, when you take a picture and show it like that, people can see the details. They can see it better than on your camera. Your camera is not always going to, you know, like this. Well, now it's going to make a liar out of me, but it's not always going to focus on what you're trying to show. So
i.e. technical difficulties, camera, audio, whatever. Yeah.
Right, exactly. So then once your sale is over, and the sale is like the fun part, you know, at least it was for me, because you get to joke around with whoever's on the panel with you, and
you see somebody you're familiar with and stuff.
Yes, and you get to talk to the chat, and that's the fun part for me, is actually getting on the live and doing whatever it is for the live. But then after the sale, I mean, sometimes we would go for at least 2 hours, sometimes we go longer. You're tired. You are tired after basically entertaining people for 2 hours. You know, if you have ever been on a stage for 2 hours, you know that after you get off of that, you're tired. Not that this is a stage.
Not just physically tired, which you are. 2 hours. If you're sitting in a chair and you're barely moving and stuff. But we talked about this with our last 3 guests. When do we notice and take observation? Because being mindful is being aware, right? You have to be conscious minded of like, well, what's going on right now? Like, it's like a little kid. You have remember when your child was small and they're like crying, what's the matter? Instead of, what is going on? You know, you're just like, well, mommy, I'm hungry. Oh, okay. Well, that's going to make them physically have a headache or just get frustrated, blood sugars, whatever. And you're like, oh, so when you get stressed physically, mentally, what does it do to you? Like, so like as a YouTuber, can you give tips to somebody that's new, or what would you suggest, or what could you contribute like in that mindset?
The first thing is schedule. I'm big into scheduling your day. Schedule your breaks into your day. And okay, I have a little caveat with this. Just because you have a break scheduled for 12 noon, if you're in the process of a creative, and YouTube is all about creation. If you're in the process of a creative mindset and you're in the middle of doing something, wait until you're done. If it's only going to take you 30 minutes or so, wait until you're done. Because if you go ahead, it's 12, let me go take my break, you're going to lose that complete creative process. You're going to lose it. It's not, I mean, sometimes it'll come back, but it's not going to be like it was. So that's one thing, is schedule breaks in there for yourself. Schedule a break to go out and get the mail. You know, there has been days that I've sat here in my office and I haven't gotten the mail for like 3 days in a row because I was too busy. Schedule breaks to go get the mail.
I'm only giggling, Victoria. I'm giggling a little bit, and I'm sure Luis is guilty here too. Like you saw him before we started. I'll be right back, because and it's a good thing. Maybe you weren't in. He's like, I gotta go get this, just throwing at the door. But as when he did that, if he wasn't there, the UPS guy may have left. It was not the postal service, but the UPS, like a FedEx or something,
right?
And so, like you said, you have to be in this frame of mind where like you don't get caught up in this bubble. So like, you know, I will say this much. Sometimes I maybe it's the father in me. It's like I get concerned with a lot of YouTubers, and maybe we'll touch upon this a little bit later. Is like I noticed with fourth quarter starting with this new transition. I think we're at maybe it's halftime with the I don't want to say the word the Rona stuff that's going on, and then people have family life stuff, and then you throw that on top of that. And if you're a reseller or doing an auction or whatever. You know, you gotta be mindful. Like, did I eat today? There was. Do you remember that? What was that acronym, Luis? Where Emily came in and it's not KISS. It's something like I don't remember. It's like hunger, anger, you know, sleep. This, you know, it's basically like it's an acronym with 4 different topics of like what is it right now that I'm like. Why am I acting like this, or why am I feeling like this?
Yeah.
You know, and it's kind of like that checkpoint of like, oh, like you said, scheduling that time. And if you can do that, but I get in my bubbles and I don't even eat sometimes. And that's bad.
Yeah. Oh, that is bad. That is the good thing about having a phone, because you can schedule, you know, for the alarms to go off, you know, but like I said, if you're in the middle of a creative bubble, don't just stop what you're doing. Kind of try either write down all the things that you're thinking of before you go to the break, or finish that little bit of a project that you have left and then go to a break. But having
wonderful reminder,
having I do alarms all the time on my phone, all day long. I have alarms set. You guys know, you've been in my morning show. I have an alarm set for the end of the morning show.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I have to. Otherwise, we'll go for hours.
But then you know, you got different. Go ahead, Luis. Good.
No, so she makes a good point. That's how I schedule my days too. You know, my alarm goes off at 5 a.m. I get up, I start checking what orders sold overnight, I start packing, I print labels. So by the time I do all that, then it's time to wake the kids up, get them up, get their breakfast going, and get them ready for their online schooling for the day.
Yeah.
So, but everything is on alarms and on the schedule. So I completely understand what.
And just being mindful of that. So I got a question, and maybe it kind of selfishly I'm going to ask this because there may be folks like me. I'm kind of in that. I don't know what part of the game it is, but like you said, your children are a little bit older, and maybe they're still living with you, maybe not. But like it's still kind of the empty nest syndrome thing, where like they're going to be doing their own thing. Mine just turned 18. Luis is different, where Luis is playing the principal, the teacher, the dad, you know. And so you definitely, on that note, I would say, it would be in your best interest to like schedule the things. I'm getting a little bit like where I need to be more creative, because I'll put alarms like, oh crap, you know, I better not forget. I got a show with Luis today, and sometimes I remember one time I got in my car, put my keys in the car, started the car, and as I'm backing out of the driveway, I'm like, wait a minute, I'm going to be on live here with, you know, Trish in 5 minutes. I can't go sourcing, you know. You know, and I was ready to go to the thrift shop, and it was the sad thing is I was like, oh man, and I was like, I want to, you know, I was like, no, get in the house, you know. So. You know, so I think different personalities may take that in a different way, but I think it is a good thing. Whatever you need to do to schedule it. Sometimes it's by appointment. Sometimes, you know, if you're clever enough in technology, have your computer shut off for like a 30-minute, you know, like, oh, I can't see you. You don't get to do it. Go eat, you know, or whatever, you know. But I think it is really important for us. What's that?
I said, or put it in sleep mode. That way you don't lose, you know, everything you got up there. Just put it in sleep mode for a little bit.
But to intentionally, it's all about your intentions. Can you intentionally, because we talked about this with Emily Conway, and she's wonderful about this. And get this, she was our first guest, and we talked about the inherent process of technology really, inadvertently like affecting us without us even knowing it sometimes. Like there's programs and there's apps and there's companies out there that like, and YouTube, being on YouTube all the time, you know, notification, or what, you know, or it's even just simple as FOMO, fear of missing out.
Right.
Yep. She started this thing. It's a method. She does it where it's on Mondays, no technology up to 8 o'clock.
Wow. 8 p.m.
Up to 8 p.m.
Yeah. Wow.
She says it's changed her life.
I would have major FOMO if I did that.
Not only that, I think some people have withdrawals, you know, we're like, you know, I want, you know, but, you know, and that's just it. But I think once you unplug yourself, you know, it becomes to a point where like I've been working on this project so hard. How do I make my YouTube channel grow? Sometimes you need to unplug just to take a time for, which this is what the show's about, is mindful reflection.
Right.
You need to, we need rest. We need to eat. We need to, take care of ourselves.
Right.
So, I think that's a good aim that you're bringing up. There's goals. We have all weekly goals. We have monthly goals. Hopefully we have annual goals. But I think what you said, Victoria, is so imperative. It's so important. Make little schedules. Make little time with yourself. You know what? Even if I'm not hungry, take that 30-minute break of lunch.
Yeah.
Go do something. You start a load of laundry or do something that's going to make you feel less stressed, or whatever.
The funny thing, Louie, is you may think you're not hungry. You don't know how many times I've gone downstairs for lunch. I don't feel hungry, but man, when I start making it and I start smelling it, or if it's a sandwich, I start eating it, I was hungry. I didn't realize it, but I was hungry. So, if you don't have to schedule yourself down to the second. You could do block scheduling if that works for you. It doesn't work for me, but it works for some people. But
good point.
Just however how I schedule my day. What I do, and I don't necessarily have from 8 to 9, I'm going to do this. I make a list in the morning of everything I need to get done. And then as I cross the stuff out, I know how many hours I have left, and I know. And then also in one of my videos on my new channel, I said, number your things. What do you have to get done the very
I love it. I'm a list person. I have to put a list, to get. Can I interject real quick, Luis?
Yeah.
Highlight this gentleman. His name is Zach Cavender. Everybody in the live chat, do me a favor. Come out there and say hi to Zach. He's a friend of mine on Instagram who I've done business with in the past. He's in here and he brings up a good question. He says self-care is important in entrepreneurship, which is a version of what selling, online is. And I thought, that's an interesting perspective to take it like that. But if we can, I don't know, am I able to give him a wrench, or is it just you, or is it anybody in the thing?
I'll wrench him right now.
If you can give him a wrench, Zach, go ahead and put your channel, even if or if you want to put your Instagram, that's fine. You guys and everybody else, give Javelina Flips. It's Javelina, and I think she's out of Texas. We've got Out Country Sales here. Oh, thank you for coming. They are from Australia, I believe. Am I able to give them a wrench, or is it just? Oh, I heard my echo. It's a little trick I got up my sleeve. Johnny's here. Thank you for coming. Cajun Roots Reseller. You guys look at each other's channels, subscribe. We have our wonderful guest here. We already started talking like we've been old friends, and I love that she's able to articulate, talk about these concepts which I think are imperative for this program. We hope to see it flourish, and it's really about how we serve our community. What ideas can we share? You guys, if you have any questions, throw them in the channel right now. Javelina said this for you, Louise. She says, Dodgers won, Jonathan, so I'm doing awesome. We have a Dodgers fan in the house. So Victoria's like, Pisha Sports.
Well, I can tell by the hat that he's wearing. So.
Guess where he's from. Guess where he's from. Well, back to that. So thank you for bringing those up. If you got anything else, and did you guys both you and Luis were talking about auctions. So it sounds like it's a plethora of activity. It's stuff that people don't really see that.
Right.
You can put extra energy into it, or you can, even just doing it is just
right.
It's not that it's anxiety driven, but it is a lot of, anxiety can just even be like just stress on the body,
right.
and it may not be like, mentally, I love this. I got to meet new people, but I'm tired.
But you know what? It's like any job I've ever had, there's been parts of it that I love and parts of it that I just didn't care for. And that's the same with reselling. That's the same with online auctions. I absolutely loved selling the stuff. I loved interacting with people. You know what I hated? I hated sending invoices. Isn't that funny? Because that's when I get paid. But I hated sending the invoices.
Do you think there's a psychology behind it? I mean, I don't want to get into this. And it's not, we can just say, let's next question. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I don't want to bog them, and it's like, I feel like, they're my friend and I hear I'm charging. It's a business,
Got to, yeah.
I love you, but pay me or you're not getting your stuff,
Exactly.
I'm kind of new to the auction community. I'm more of a participant. I'm in the future talking to Luis about maybe dipping my toe in it and stuff.
Mhm.
So both as a reseller and also as a YouTuber, Victoria, what would you suggest for me? Like, because I get it in theory. I understand there's forms to fill out. To me, I like to talk about etiquette. I'm still getting used to, like, what is the manners here? How do we, because everybody that does auctions differently. Do you think that etiquette is a really important part of how we as both resellers and let's say if we're doing it online and we're using this beautiful gold nugget called YouTube as a platform, do you think we have any responsibilities?
I definitely do. Number one is you can't, I mean, not that you would, but just in general, you can't sell crap, These are not only these are people, these are your customers, these are your friends,
Yeah.
You can't sell something that's ripped or torn, or if you're doing clothing. When I would sell stuff and I would find a rip in it after, when I was packaging it up, I wouldn't charge them for it. I would send them to them, but I wouldn't actually charge it because you can't do that to your friend, And I know people say,
you're talking about business practices, which is very mindful because, like, I've done that too, where, like, I wrote somebody said, you know what, I think I overcharged you on shipping. Here's the difference,
right.
But that's very nice. So, like, but in terms of online, I like that you said that. So, like, think about who your customer is, but think about your reputation of what you're selling. Your reputation is your word.
Exactly.
Am I saying that right? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Your reputation is your word. Did you mean it in any other context when you were asking me the question?
I'm just curious because, well, I'm actually asking for a person, but also there's people out there that are like, yeah, I'd like to, see. Another reason I said is before I came here, I told Luis I went to the post office, which I got a P.O. box just for privacy reasons, but also for business. And I thought maybe I can write it off. But anyway, it's not cheap to get a P.O. box anymore. But as I'm waiting there, I'm like, like I said, we're all about non-critical observations. Like, what can I learn? I wake up every morning, I say, what's the one new thing you can learn? What's the new thing? It may be on the same subject, but what's something new or a different angle you can look at it? Because you start doing things repetitive, you kind of break patterns or you just don't follow the pattern.
Well, you always want to learn something new.
And maybe even refine it. Like, okay, I got that down pat, but how can I, let's make it a little bit more efficient. I love efficiency.
Right.
So I'm at the post office, I'm waiting, and I'm getting impatient because some lady behind me is literally like this. I keep looking down at the floor, and it says 6 feet away. Be mindful, And I kept looking at her. I'm like looking over my shoulder, and she kept getting closer. So I'm like this, I'm like and all this because I did auctions, and so part of me was like, I'm excited to get my auctions, but I got to do this to get my auction stuff, So I'm like, but it was worth it because I did business with some people that I call friends, and I'm getting acquainted with people. And you really can make great deals, like you said, but it was interesting. But I'm going to call myself out here on court and say, I almost lost it today. Where I wanted to voice my opinion in a kind of a confrontational way, and I'm not a confrontational person. And I could feel my heart getting elevated, going. And the lady, after I went to go to the door, I backed up and I kept trying to find a place because it's bustling in there. Right. And I found a corner to stand away. And the lady comes right next to me after I'm just like, and I just looked up at her and I looked her in the eye, and I find when you give people eye contact, it's a different form of communication.
Yeah.
And she goes, do you mind if I ask you something? You keep giving me these looks. And I said, well, with all due respect, I said, I'm not trying to get sick here. There's this thing called socially distancing. She looked at me and she's like, and then as I do that, I look down and the sign says, stand so many different. She's like, how rude. And I said, you know what? I think I'm going to have to agree with you on that. It is kind of rude. She just went, and I walked away. I was like, enough said. So, I don't, that's what I'm talking about. Etiquette is always important. Can you be civil with people? Can you do this? But as far as we're all merchants to one extent or not, whether you're taking a pause or not. But even out in the householding, like you're trying to do something for your YouTube business, you need to go get this new technology and you're waiting in line, and whatever. How do we like constantly in this day and age that is we're in a new day and age. I don't know what's going on out there. It's so hard for everybody. And it's like, I try my best to like always just be polite to people, but I like to set boundaries. Now those boundaries need to be reflected on myself. Am I doing it? Can I practice what I'm preaching?
Right. Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah.
So I'm going to start eating more. I'm going to put appointments in there, Victoria, because of you.
Yep.
Good.
See, you always learn something new every day.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. I had a Zen master teach me that once. Seriously, I'm not joking about it. Well, that's another show.
How you doing, Harry? Welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, Harry.
Thank you. Oh, Harry Humstone is here. He's an incredible guy. He has a fun kind of just Sunday nonchalant chat, but he'll bring up some topics, and he's very open-minded.
Mm-hmm.
I think his business strategy is he knows he's been around the block a few times, and he likes what he likes, and he's really good.
Yeah.
But that Lady Antiques Treasures here, we were just talking about you. I got your package today. Thank you. Talking about mindful merchants, she very carefully put it in a box. So something that I bought from her didn't get crushed. And I was like very grateful. I was like, I'm feeling gratitude here. So Outcountry Sales is back here. Did we miss anybody else? Marrakesh is here.
Outcountry Sales. Jonathan Alfaro's in here too. Marrakesh 7.
Yeah, Marrakesh 7 is Sadiq. And then we got, like you said, Jonathan, thank you for coming. A lot of these folks in here, Victoria, you may recognize them.
Yeah.
Some of them are sort of in the auction community. Some of them are resale. Some of them are not. I don't know. But on that note, we're talking about auctions. We're talking about YouTube. We're talking about being resellers. But we're also just talking about how do you be a better householder? I think if your house is not in order, you can't be... How would you put it, Luis? You can't be in your best. You got to like really up your game. Like, how clean is and I say your house up here, mental, mind, your body, your spirit, and your heart,
Yeah.
What would you say to that?
My house. I'm like, my office is a disaster because there's things everywhere. But I agree.
Can you find it? Can you find it?
Yes, I can. I know where it is. Todd, however, no, I'd never be able to tell him where it was. But I know where it is. But yeah, I think you're right, because if you're not eating properly or you're not eating at all, if you're not taking care of yourself to get breaks, if you're not, refreshing yourself, throughout the day, you're going to get sick,
yep.
And you're not going to feel like, when you're sick, you don't feel like doing anything. You don't feel like, because you don't feel good. You're not going to feel like, your business is YouTube, is reselling, is being out in front of people. Because I know some people that say, oh, YouTube's not a business. It can be. If you make a business, it can be. If you're building your YouTube channel, it can be. And if you're not,
let's just say, just because you're not monetarily making money doesn't mean it's not a business. You may use it as a networking tool. And
exactly.
I've seen people make money outside of YouTube, not from YouTube, like the monetization people talk about, like, ooh, I can't wait till I monetize, but like if you make a good business relationship, like I remember I used to start watching on you, and then they meet you on Instagram. And by the way, my buddy's emptying his warehouse. Do you want that information? Well, yes, thank you. Just it's about networking, but it's also about how can you improve your life? How can you be more productive?
And you have to feel good to be able to be more protective. You have to have the energy to get throughout your day. And, if you're not taking care of yourself and your house, you're not going to be able to. So,
I think that's kind of one of the things that Luis and I'm sorry, Luis, were you going to jump in?
Yeah, I was just going to say thanks to Johnny for stopping by. He's on his way out. He just wanted to show support and say bye to us.
You guys, thank you. And then we got Mateo or Matt Romero here. He's a really good guy. Yeah, he's one of the mindful ones in the chat. Like, he knows how to play and have fun, but he's always very polite and he's engaging. But he contributes to the community. He's new here, so you guys, if you're not subscribed to Mateo, please stop by. Everybody else in here that has blue wrenches, either drop a link for somebody that you see is not doesn't have the moderator status. So thank you for bringing that up. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Luis.
Yeah, there was a question in here for Victoria too.
Bring it up. Yeah, bring it up, and I'll stop. Occasion says, "Sorry, I'm done on my." Oh, that was the one that he's leaving. Okay. Yeah. See you later. Bye, Johnny. Thank you. And then just picked up a bargain resale. I'll be checking out. Oh, Harry Homestone says he's going to.
Oh, bye, Harry.
Thank you. I think that's what he says. I'm trying to read and catch up here too. Well, let me do this. Go ahead and find it. When you do, we'll stop.
Yeah, I already posted it up. It says, Victoria, she has a niche.
Yes and no. For reselling, my niche or niche, I always say niche. Maybe I'm saying it wrong. Sometimes I say niche, sometimes I say niche in my videos. But yes, in reselling, it's mainly postcards, old postcards, and old papers. You know, like letters, and it's I can't think of the name right now. It's right here. It's right here. It won't come out. Ephemera. Okay, I pushed it out. It's ephemera. But for YouTube, my niche or niche is helping not on this channel, but my new channel is helping people grow their YouTube.
I was gonna say, it kind of seems like when as soon as he said that, I went, I think I know what one of her new, or at least one of her, because everybody has more than one niche, but it's really nice when you can specialize. And it's what's really, I think, unique is you had to have taken a step back mentally. Like I need to slow things down. I'm not going to necessarily be able to participate and work with certain folks anymore, or there's a time where you have to put a stop and say, with all no disrespect, with all respect, I'm going to back out and I'm going to bow out and thank you. It was great working with you. And I need to go. You need to do things for yourself. And that's part of taking care of yourself, is doing something that you love. You got to follow your heart. So I wanted to say, is this new project that you're in, let's do this as an introduction again. Like, go ahead and start and talk about it however you want. And by the way, finish anything else that we interrupted you constantly when you were introducing yourself. But is this new channel sort of your new passion, as per the question?
Exactly. It is. It is. I will answer that right away. It is. Yeah. I spend so much time on the new channel that reselling for me has kind of taken a back seat. I haven't, this is horrible to say, but I haven't listed anything in ages, in weeks, because I just haven't,
Are you okay with that? You're good with that?
Yeah, because I was telling you guys, I stepped back from, me and my husband had a talk. I stepped back from auctions. He said, don't, just stop the auctions, because I was doing like 2 or 3 a week. And so I stepped back.
I at least seen you at least once, if not probably twice.
Yes. I mean, I was doing, I do my 5 morning shows a week, which I don't really consider that work. That's just like, I'm meeting my friends for coffee. It's just such a fun show. I'll never give that up.
The way you start the day, and it's a way you can also kill 2 birds, 1 stone.
Exactly. And then I was doing, I don't know how many afternoon and evening shows. So my husband's like, okay, stop the auctions and step back from a lot of the extra shows that you're doing. So I did. I stepped back, and the only shows I do now are I do one with Nana on Thursday nights. We do a show where we interview people.
It's a delightful show, by the way. It's a lot of work too, I can tell.
It's fun though. It's fun. And we give away prizes. That's a fun show. And then I just started one last Tuesday with, because she have a hard time saying her name, Robin. And that's on Tuesday. So that's the only shows I do on this channel. Everything else I do is for my new channel, which I do the 2 Tuesdays and Fridays. I put out a new video on my new channel. But the way that channel started is me and my husband talked about it. And we decided that, yes, this is something I'm passionate about. I love teaching people and helping people. So this is my new drive, is that new channel to teach and help people, not just resellers, although it does help resellers. I've helped, a lot of resellers tell me that it's been helping them, but it's also helping other people.
As long as your intentions are that, okay, what can I bring to, so I'm not saying this, I'm not giving advice, but I'm saying it's a suggestion to anybody in the community. And I think you've already thought about this. Apparently you must, because I'm looking at your one channel now as I'm kind of looking on here. One of them is something we just kind of talked about, like, how can you take care of your health and mental well-being? How to, when I say well-being, that means just, how can you make sure your being, which is not your personality, but your essence of who you are, how can you take care of that? And so you can want to make, better content. So you can want to make and be productive, not just with YouTube, but in your daily life. And you're like, in the same way that you said, like Todd and you said, let's take a step back. And I think one of the best things you can do is just say, stop.
Right.
Let me just, because when things are just moving so fast and I'm doing this and I'm doing, wow, my head spins. And I come from a community of spiritual practice where we talk about like, you have to take 30 minutes. It's almost like meditation, or some people call it prayer or whatever. And it's just really about like letting, what really matters seep in.
Right.
Because, when you quiet the mind, you kind of go, oh, I think I know what I need to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Yeah, you said it best. Things can come up. And it's usually the stuff that you're repressing, or avoiding dealing with, and that's good, So I noticed one of your videos is about being productive.
Yep. And you know how that started? Well, I said it in the video.
By the way, introduce your new channel real quick.
Yeah, my new channel. It's my name. It's Victroria Zaenglein, and I think
down below.
Yeah, Luis put it in the description if you want to check it out. And it's all about growing your YouTube channel. I'm going to go over everything. So what I do, let me take a step back and tell you how do I know what I'm teaching? How do you know that I know what I'm teaching is right?
Yeah.
What I do is so all week I figure out what my topics are going to be. And then I just do research on YouTube, and I look at what other people are telling about the topic that I want to talk about. And I try and get not video. I don't look at videos from 10 years ago, because that stuff changes all the time. So
or if you do, how can I put this in a new context for today?
Right.
How does this speak to, because those technologies may be a little bit tweaked or different, and and people are going to be like, also when you have old stuff, it doesn't always come up as a parent. I'm not saying it's not there, but you're also bringing a fresh new perspective. I'm Victoria. I'm not Adventures Reselling, because it's not about reselling. Although I will say this is probably some of the best content a lot of resellers can use. So what I'm trying to do is it's a package for all. Right.
So when I create, I can't even remember what you asked me, but what I do is I create my video. I outline my video. I do my research. I told my mom the other day, I called her and I said, because she knows about my new channel, and she's subscribed, but she tried to watch one of them, and she's like, Victoria, I didn't understand a word you were saying, because she's not building a YouTube channel, but she's still subscribed. So that was nice of her.
Yeah.
But anyway, I outline exactly what I'm going to say. And, then I go over it, and then I'll tape it. And it's a lot of work, but
people don't understand that when you're doing YouTube, you're not only doing a presentation, but part of that presentation is how can I afford to take this information and make it user friendly to somebody who goes, I don't know what you're talking about, but that's actually what I need to know, and you're kind of like, well, by the way, and I think your personality can speak to that, Victoria, because knowing you from what little I have, and Luis and I've enjoyed watching you all along, it's it comes through, your charisma is there. And what is the one thing they've always taught us, in YouTube world, is be your personality, be your true self. And I think it does come through.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think one of the things that just basically, I was just stating, was, what it is you're bringing across, what is your intentions, for doing it. And I think you kind of touched on that too. Is there anything particular about your channel that you would say that has a discourse? Like you said, some of it I wanted to take it into a new, fresher way. But do you think what could you say that yours is maybe a little bit different than maybe what's going on right now? Because there might be other people doing it. And once you look down the rabbit hole of YouTube, it's like everybody's got something to say almost on the same subject, but it's always, I find it quite different.
Yeah, always.
Not always efficiently. Go ahead.
Right. Well, and that's one of the things, I will answer that question. That's one of the things I said in one of the videos I did. I can't remember which one, but find a YouTuber that will teach you, that you feel like you have something in common with, that teaches you the way that you learn. It may not be me, but find somebody that will, so that you can, grow your YouTube channel the way that you will understand it. So that's something else I had said, but you just asked a question and now I can't remember what it was.
No, that's okay. We're just kind of that's what we do here. We don't feel like you're, just whatever comes to mind that you want to just convey. But I'm looking. I've been watching your videos since you started, but here's the thing. You're doing a lot of work. Like you're investing your full time. So I guess let's change directions a little bit and then come back. If you got something you want to add, jump in. So how is Victoria now? And I'm gonna say, is it Zaenglein, right?
Zaenglein.
Zaenglein. So how is it Victoria Zaenglein not adventures in reselling this personality that you brought to the table, which is she's still going to stay. You're not getting rid of that channel, right?
No, so, I'm not.
Good. Don't go.
No.
Because I think you have so much to contribute to and I think one day you're going to see little crossovers from your channel as Victoria and what you contribute to across the board, whether you're a reseller, but I think but like we talked about is being on YouTube is a business. So you're selling yourself.
Right.
It doesn't matter, and so if you're selling yourself, whether it's marketing, I need to get out there and market so I can make more sales, or I need to get out there and market myself because I want to make this a business, or I want to, you're selling yourself because you're trying to pitch something, and how are you taking care of yourself? So, as that form of the business of you're still selling in a way, right. How are you going to take care of yourself? So you're like you said, I had to step back from all the other stuff. Where do you see yourself catching yourself sometimes with this new channel going, ooh, there's a reoccurrence. I think I want to be careful here,
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet, because with this channel, Adventures in Reselling, I was doing a lot of lives, and lives are so much fun, but they take a lot of your time, because unlike a video or like planning for a video, that might take longer than a live, but you can do it in segments. You can actually go and get something to eat.
And on your time, and it's not about control, but it's like, but you do have better control over, like you said, your scheduling, your agenda, your logistics.
Your life around it. Where lives, you kind of have to schedule your live. Not really. You kind of have to. You know what I'm saying? How
about this? Like right now, I could be sourcing, but I'm on this live with.
Exactly.
Like I was joking. It's like, oh, come on, Luis, let me out of this one. You do this one by yourself.
But so
it meets your needs, and we need to do that because I hate to say this, as resellers, there's something, and I wanted to bring this up. Maybe I don't know if did I mention this, Luis. We're going to talk about it. Maybe Luis can kind of ask the question the way he wants to. Is like we talked about. There's something big going on in YouTube, and maybe it's a seasonal thing. Maybe it's just something I'm observing, and maybe it's because the circle I'm in. I'm like, wow, I can sense this energy is like really getting on people right now, and that burnout seems to be like a really big thing in terms of like we were talking about boundaries. Luis, jump in if you have a perspective on this, and Victoria, jump in too.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's one thing that we've been discussing for the last few days. There's a burnout going on between a lot of the people, and it's a lot of the things like Victoria's saying. If you're not taking care of yourself, not just physically, but up here, you're gonna burn yourself out. I mean, I know everybody's going crazy because it's fourth quarter already, and everybody's trying to get all their ducks in order. But
that's our monkey wrench.
Yeah, you also gotta take the time to, okay, I did this much right now. Okay, it's time to go take a break, go walk in the backyard, go walk the dog, or play with your cat for a little while. Step away from whatever you're doing, even if it's for 20 minutes to half an hour, and then get a drink of water. You feel a little bit better because you did something different.
Refresh.
Yeah, you're refreshing yourself instead of just constantly just being stuck in that mindset where you're just, okay, I got a list, and you just keep going and going, and you're not giving your mind or your body a break, and you're just constantly going. And that's an important thing that you got to always remember is you got to give yourself a break, a mental break, and a physical break. So just get up, take a walk, like I said. And
okay, so you got mental breaks and you got physical breaks. Yeah. What about? I don't want to get into religion because everybody, can practice whatever religious practices, and I'm saying practices. It's about being mindful, is about being aware. And when your practices as a reseller, your practices as a family householder, whether you're a wife or a husband or a mom or dad or a brother or sister, whatever, and you got family, how do you make sure that we don't neglect those needs? Just your husband's like, well, gosh, you're giving all this attention this week. Victoria, when do I get to be heard? You know, and then sometimes they need to be heard, and you need to kind of go, I'm
Okay,
here
you
now.
know that schedule that you have to make, and I did put this in on one of my videos. It was on the video. I did a series where it was Friday, Saturday, Friday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. It was a 5-set series that I did. And one of those, I don't remember which day it was, but one of the tips in there was to schedule your day and start and end, just like treat it as a job. Treat this as a job. And, you know, you go into work. I mean, yeah, even if you go into work at a different time each day and you have different responsibilities each day, you know, you're going to start at some point and you're going to end at some point. Do the same with this. Don't let this overtake your whole life, because if you do that, number one, trouble in your relationships are going to start, whether it's your kids, whether it's your spouse, whether it's your significant other.
Your own well-being, you know.
Yeah, your well-being. So you really do. There's a story behind that.
Who said what? What is it? Oh, is that Chris?
How you doing, Caju?
Oh, look, it's Queen of Coffee. Just don't ask her to make it. So when we did the meetup a couple weeks ago, I tried to make coffee and I accidentally dumped the coffee grounds into the pot. So they're like, they took the coffee away from me and they're like, you cannot make coffee. You are not allowed to touch the coffee pot.
Let me interject real quick. So you've had the opportunity, a lot of people in the live, you were able to, speaking of like relationships, not just our immediate family, but like YouTube at one point kind of feels like a family. Like, you know, every time I get to hear from Luis, hey brother, how you doing? You know, and he's kind of like that, you know, he is like that, you know, that YouTube brother, that, you know, reseller brother, you know, he's like a spiritual brother to me. And so you got to meet some of these folks, maybe just in a real quick nutshell. So you did a meetup, is that correct?
Yes, we did a meetup. It was from Friday to Sunday. And it was absolutely wonderful to meet these people that I've spent the last year with on YouTube. And, you know, I've spent every morning with them, basically Monday through Friday anyway. And to be able to meet them, and you know what? They're just like they are on YouTube.
That's nice.
That tells me a lot. That tells me that I have some really great friends that are exactly who they say they are. You know? And they're my family. You know, I really do believe that this is my family, my YouTube family. So it was wonderful.
That's amazing. So I just want to let you know, if you got a couple minutes, you're welcome to, you know, stay a little longer, but like we're running up on the 4 o'clock mark. We want to just, first and foremost, is there anything else about your show that you would like to just mention that when did you start? That seems like already a month, if not more.
Oh gosh. Yeah, it's got to be at least a month ago that I started the new channel. Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry,
you guys. Somebody post Victoria's new channel, not the Adventures in well, you can post that too, but post this one. It's Victoria Zaenglein, and I probably messed your name up, but she's got quite a few videos already and a lot of tips. You know, thumbnails, destroy channels. It's like, you know, little ideas behind you know, effectively, efficiently making thumbnails. You know, your YouTube success starts here. It's just, you know, I think it's great what you're doing, and so, you know,
I'll give you not a tip. What's it called when you tell something to a certain group of people? No, like you're going to tell them what's coming up. Like a
preview.
Like a preview, a private preview for just you guys, for just the audience here, is tomorrow's video. I haven't made it yet. I'm going to be making it later today and then scheduling it for tomorrow. But tomorrow's video is on why do you lose subscribers? What are the reasons, and you know what you can do to.
Oh, you can run the gamut on that. You know. So, wow. Well, and then you have this other show. You said it's going to be coming up, and it's alive, and it's because she said her name is Robin. We were trying to see if we can get her here, but she is a hard person to catch. So, and I think we're kind of short on time. I haven't seen her, but I will confess, we were trying to sneak her in here today. I think you may have.
That would have been great.
And I think she really wanted to. It just, I don't know, something come up with her schedule. Maybe we'll have to wait.
Like a conflict. That's all it was.
She's really busy.
It's hard, you know, like reaching out to people and this and that, and I've watched her stuff, but I think you guys are going to make a great team. I hopefully maybe one day she'll be able to come on this show and maybe you can sneak in and surprise her. And but you guys make sure, I'm pointing down here, this very fine lady of YouTube has been nothing but courteous, nothing but kind to both Luis and myself. I watch her etiquette is very composed, and she's like very polite. And if you have questions, she's willing to like try to answer it. And if she doesn't know, she'll point you in the right direction. She's got a lot of tips. And I think these are tips that are not only going to help us in our mental well-being, but also just like spiritually kind of like uplift us and kind of go, yeah, I can do better. And that's really what we're here. We just said it a little while ago. Luis said it. We're always here to learn. Victoria just said it. We have something new to learn every day. So hopefully this platform, we hope that this has brought you something good. We kind of like a little bit all over the place, but you can watch this and grab the little golden nuggets. But I think we were pretty much on target and rolling along the track here. Is, what can we do every day with this new information with so many people that are out there? And I think one of the suggestions I'm going to end on here is collaborate. Find people that you normally wouldn't speak to, start communicating with them. Reach out in their Instagram, say hi, give them suggestions like saying, hey, I think there's a really good sale. I would sell for more next time you find it. But hey, good job. Just talk to people. Make it better for somebody else, because you don't know what they're going through. You don't know what life's bringing somebody else. And there's always room for making it a better day. And so if we can be merchants that are mindful, remember, we're not necessarily selling stuff. We're selling who we are, and you can sell your compassion to somebody. You can sell, and sell short on certain things and become negative, and you don't want that. So jump in.
Not only are we selling ourselves when we're selling our goods, but we're also selling ourselves on our channels. When you're talking on your channel, when you're doing your videos, when you're having your live chats, we're selling ourselves on those as well. It's not just, if you are on YouTube, if you are in front of people, you're selling yourself,
I'm so glad you said that, because we don't see it sometimes, and we kind of like all of a sudden, we're just in Zoom mode. No, you're not. You're going to be watching this. People can watch this again later.
Right.
And I don't mean to be, I don't want to sound like an old grandpa that's like, be on your best behavior. But kind of a little bit of nugget of wisdom in there is that be mindful about what you say, because sometimes what you say may be perceived, and I'm talking about not just verbally, what you guys write in the chats, sometimes may be misconstrued. It's like an email. I've written somebody, it's like as a doesn't matter if it's eBay or whatever platform you're on. When you get a buyer coming to you and writing an email, it doesn't hurt you just to be professional and courteous to them, even if they say rude and disrespectful things.
Exactly.
My thing is if you sell them, and I've had people come back and apologize and say, you know what, you were very polite and this and that, and I'm not trying to save face because I don't want to, it's because I'm trying to avoid negative feedback, although I don't want that. But it's really just about, we don't know what's going on in somebody's life every day, and not just amongst our friends, but people that, we forget. Just because you're on that side of the YouTube, or you're on that side of the email, they're human beings too, and there's so much more. Thank you for coming in, Nikki. Let's say hi real quick to a couple people. Luis, you take over. I've been talking.
Nikki T's in right now. She says she's sorry she's so late, but better late than never.
Hey, Nikki.
Nikki's coming up in a couple weeks, you all.
Yeah.
Nikki and Brad are going to be here.
Resellers in the house too.
They're going to be our first November special guests, and it's going to be as both husband and wife, not necessarily as the YouTubers you might know. And, we're going to see what they have to say on this topic, which I think they've been contributing a lot in this community. They've been a positive light of message, and I think, Victoria, I've seen you in different modes, and I've always respected you, because you are, some people don't want to talk about praying, but like you can call it a wish, but it's really what comes from your heart, and that you put good intentions out there. I think it's, some people, that's karma, whatever you want to call it. My thing is if you're just polite and you give good energy to people, I think that's kind of what an exercise and practice of being mindful is. It's just being aware.
Right. Think about what you want in return. You don't want hate and horrible thoughts and all that running through your head. So if you give out good energy and good vibes, good karma, whatever you want to call it, hopefully you're going to get that back, you know?
Yeah.
So,
No, hopefully. I think we can also project it like going, you know what? I'm going to give this back, and I don't expect anything from this person. I just want to exude love.
oh,
I want to
exactly.
exude passion. I want to be the best person I can be. And if you can't please everybody, we know that. But we can be the best person that we are. And your smile says it all right there, Victoria.
We can please ourselves.
Oh my gosh. Like,
you never want to be embarrassed to be yourself from something that you've said. So you definitely want to think about yourself when you're talking, because you don't want to you can't take those things back after you've said them. So
yeah, and if you can, it's like it's hard for people to forgive, which means you got to build trust levels. I think that's what we're doing here, is having a conversation like this is about having a dialogue. Having a conversation, having a dialogue, a little bit different. I can have a conversation with you, but are you listening to me, and am I listening to you?
Right.
But if you have a dialogue, then it becomes more meaningful, and we're hearing each other.
Exactly.
Luis is listening in. He may not say much, but he's listening. Trust me. You know, and he's when he drops his golden nuggets of information, he's scoring it up there. We got Houston Reseller. You guys check him out. He's I want to say sort of new to the community, but he's been a new acquaintance. We got him in a live once. He's a little shy, but he's a good guy. He's got some interesting content, and I think his heart, and everybody that's in here, especially, we haven't said it. I'm going to say hi to Jennifer Hayes again. Oh my gosh. Like, talk about a real YouTuber. She gives selflessly. She doesn't ask for anything in return. And if you show her channel or something like that, no, she's like, don't. But go watch her. Give her some watch hours, you guys.
Yeah.
More importantly, I'm going to, because we are kind of going over time, and I want to be respectful to our guests. And thank you for everybody in the live chat. Please, real quick, just take your time. Go to Adventures in Reselling if you don't know where her link is, and then go to the other link that is Victoria. And she's got something new. And I think in the next year, you guys are going to see this channel not blossom in terms of like, population of like subscriptions. You're going to see such the word I'm looking for is portfolio of good information. And I know she's going to contribute new stuff. And what she doesn't know, she'll figure it out, and she's going to share with us. You've always been a caring and sharing person, Victoria. Thank you so much for being here.
Yep.
And on that note, what do you think we should end it on, you guys? Let's start with Luis, and then Victoria, you'll close us out.
Yeah. I mean, no, just I want to thank Victoria for joining us today. Make sure you guys support her channel. Make sure moderator dropped her links down for her new channel and also for her reselling channel. So whoever doesn't know her reselling, I know there's a lot of new people that probably don't know Victoria, so they could get to know her. And just on everything that we touched today, just remember, work on yourselves, take care of yourselves, and never. Yeah, exactly. So, just like I said, I'll pass it down to Victoria, and I'll let her say any final thoughts that she might have.
Well, first and foremost, I want to say thank you guys both for having me on. I was really excited about this. So I know I've been texting back and forth with Louie, and I'm like, I'm excited. So this was really nice. And I love your new show format. I really, really love it. So I'm going to start watching it.
Any tips for us? We're always open. We take constructive criticism, and we don't take it critically. We're like, you see something, because we want to improve. We really, really, like I said, our intention is, what can we give back to the community? Because there's too much, I can sit back and go, I feel like there's going to be, a tension point here going, I don't like drama. I don't want anything else. And I want to see everybody get along and grow. And it sounds, some people go, that's immature. Not everybody's going to get along. We understand, but you can collaborate. You can be respectful to each other. So.
Maybe you just gave me an idea, Louie. Yeah. Maybe I will start. I don't know that I'll do it once a week, because that would be a lot of work, extra work on me. But maybe once a month or so, I will ask people, do you want me to look at your channel just to see, not that I'm an expert, but I'm I learn more each day with the YouTube, my new channel. Yeah. So, and then I can look at your channels and say, okay, I would change this, or I would do this differently, or maybe, when you do a video.
Suggestion, just say, I suggest you bring a horse to water, they can't drink it, but here's part of the bargain is if you get, I got an idea, is take that, maybe it could be on your Victoria channel, and make it almost like a pre-recorded live where you have a guest come on. So that way you got time to, like, if you want to edit it, and you get them to sit there quietly, and then there'll be a time where they get to say and ask a question to you. Say, what would you like me to look at today? And also, I'm going to look at one thing that you may not have thought that somebody looks at. Would you be opposed to me giving you some and maybe call it the constructive criticism, hour or something? Or half an hour. And you could
have a couple of people. I could have 2 or 3 people on in that hour.
Pop off,
Yeah. I like that idea. And it would help more people. I love that. Yeah. So.
And it's also, that's what I was trying to say is like this idea, Luis, I emphasize to Luis, we can never collaborate enough. You ever want to get off and go do something with somebody, that's fine. We can find a temporary guest host or something like that, or vice versa. Right, got to go, but like, we should not be like, this is us and only us and we're going to click. And that's, but I mean, some people gravitate and we get along with each other because that's human nature and that's good.
Right.
But as long as we're always open to like, hey, let's be friends. We're not in high school. We're out here learning from each other. Right. I think everybody here has something to contribute. That's the beauty.
Everybody can learn something. It's really like I said earlier, it's a great day when you learn something new. It's like, I love learning. I love learning something new every day. And that's one of the things I was going to tell you earlier. I know we're getting into the shutdown area, but when I was telling you it's a lot of work, would you believe that sometimes I watch 10 to 20 videos before I get like an 8-minute video of my own? But I love it. And I was telling my mom, I feel like
because you're a learner. You want to keep that, because once you don't learn, what happens, Victoria? You get bored, don't you?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, but thank you guys so much for having me on here. I was honored to be on here with you guys.
No, we're honored to have you too. Thank you for making it so easy for us. You're just easy to talk to. You're a good listener. I think you're gonna be an excellent person that's gonna teach a lot of people something new. I've already watched your videos. Your personality is already there. That's a God-given gift. But I think you really have that nature. You got it in you to like, you want to share. So like I told Sam that was here, I think it was Sam last week, right?
Yeah, we had him last week. Yeah.
And I was telling him that there was this, I learned something because one thing is like, if I want to learn from everybody. I may not be of this religiosity or this philosophy or whatever it is, or this business model, but I can look at it and go, what can I learn from it? And I remember one time a friend of mine who was from India said, the thing about some religions and our religion is, and I'm like, oh, I don't want to know, but just listen. I said, what's that? He goes, we have a saying here called seva. And I'm like, what's the seva? It's SEVA. And look it up if you could find something on it. And it just means selfless giving. Yeah. And I said, oh, that's similar to something like in a lot of religious communities I've gone to, is like, it's just being of service to somebody else. How can you be of service? Hey, Louis, how you doing? This is our next big YouTuber. He's going to come up one day and he's going to outdo his dad. He's going to like have more stuff. So yeah, if we can learn to like, in a way that's, if you want to use that term seva or whatever, just be of service to people, but don't expect anything back. Just do it because out of the kindness of your heart you want to help. Yep. I think that's what you're doing. You're not getting paid for this right now. I know you're not.
I'm not. But I am getting a return because when I help someone, it makes me feel so good. Yep. You know what I'm saying? It gives me.
I know you're not doing it for that, but it is fulfilling, right?
Right. It is. It's fulfilling. So.
Well, once again, thank you. We're also honored too. Like Louis said, thank you for being here. Thank you, everybody. We're 15 minutes over again, and we
no, fine.
What are you sorry for? We're like, we'll keep you on for another hour, but we better be mindful here, right? And
I gotta go make tacos. That's what we're doing.
Exactly. I gotta go wash some clothes, and otherwise I'm gonna walk around this house stinking to myself. All right, good. Let's do this again. Maybe next year. We'll see, because I think we're getting close to. Believe it or not, next week we're gonna have on OBX Sticker Eric and Danica.
Oh, she's great. They're both great.
They're gonna talk about a different topic of this subject matter called mindfulness of being a merchant, which is being a reseller. We're gonna talk about introverts maybe a little bit. See how do they fit in. If not, we don't talk about it. If we, we're really just loving having the community come together. And I'm trying to find 2 different people that are not necessarily working together and get them to connect. Because then think about they walk away saying, "Hey, remember when we met on that show?"
Yes.
Yeah. And so we were trying to get Robin in here, but you guys check out our other channel on Tuesdays. It's what is it called? The 6 o'clock news hour.
It's called Good News with Robin and Victoria, and it's on Robin's channel because she shed. So.
Yeah.
All right. Well, on that note, thank you so much, you guys. Have a wonderful. Make your aims. Make your daily aims to reach your weekly goals and your monthly goals. Remember everything that Victoria said. Be positive. Do something for somebody else for once, and then make sure to take time for yourself. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
All right, guys. Have a good one.
Bye.